Hi guys, how you doing? Just thought I would record this quick video for you on the back of the last video I did, which was for the BMW R1200 GS Adventure. My thoughts owning the bike just up until this point. At the very end of that video I just made note that I bought myself a new helmet, which was the Schuberth E1 ADV helmet, or the adventure style, and I thought I'd stick up a video, run you through some of the things I like about it, why I've ended up with it, and my recommendations on my personal feelings. Now I do completely get that it's different for everyone. Equipment is very individual, so which is why I don't usually do equipment reviews, because what works for me might not necessarily work for you. But I thought, because of the lack of information out there, I would run a video or a review or a thoughts, whatever you want to call it, and hopefully it will prove some use to someone. So right, okay, let's get in it. So why the Schubert E1? Well, previous helmets for me are a Arai Tour X4, which was a really good helmet, coming in some really good colours. The fit for me was a little bit loose on the cheeks, so I decided that I'd like something a bit snugger. So I went away from the peak, because the peak on the Tour X4 moves about quite a lot. I found it quite distracting, because I had a MT-09 at the time, so I brought myself an AGV K5S, which is the one with the sun visor. As you can see, I'm a glasses wearer, and if I've got glasses when I'm on the bike, obviously the option to wear sunglasses is taken away from me. I do try and wear contacts when I can, but it's not always convenient. So how did I end up with the Schuberth? Well, there was a few things that I wanted on my sort of ideal list, and that's obviously I wanted that adventure style helmet to go with the style of the bike. So I wanted the peak, I wanted an internal sun visor, which is no issue, there's lots out there that offer that. Obviously I wanted the pin lock, but I wanted modular as well, so I wanted the helmet to be able to lift up. So because one of the big frustrations for me when I'm on the bike is filling stations, or when you're stopping for just a brief chat or a brief cup of tea, or just something to me, is this rigmarole of undoing the double D ring on your helmet, pulling it off, one of your earplugs comes out, and then you've got stuff all over the place, you're taking your gloves off in order to do it, and the list goes on and on. I'm sure you've all been there with me. So aside looking like I'm a member of the police, I wanted to go with something like this, just out of convenience really, and I've never had one before, so I was keen to see how it works. So how did I end up with the Schuberth? Well, like I said, I had this exact list of what I wanted, and there were only a couple of helmets that really fitted that, and one of them was this, the Schubert E1. So I went along to my local motorcycle shop, who are a Schuberth dealer in Norwich, tried a few on, and just fits perfectly. It's got really nice, tight, snug fit, kind of touches all the points of your head, you know, so you can't get a finger in anywhere, but it's not over tight that it causes all the issues. And obviously it's got the sun visor, which I wanted. The fit's very good. It's a modular style with the peak and the ADV, so it kind of ticked all the boxes. So initially for me, what struck me was the build quality of the helmet. Absolutely beautiful, you know, all the edges really match well. The mechanism for moving the modular unit up and down is solid. It really clicks in nice. The use of the internal sun visor, or the mechanism for that, is really solid. Again, works well. Everything's really thought about, which is what you'd expect from a £500 plus helmet. The sun visor itself, really impressed with this. The system that they've used is the cable system, which means there's quite a lot of resistance when you use it. Therefore, when you pull the sun visor down, you can kind of have it at any point. So you can have it high up, so it's just cutting out sort of low-lying sun, or you can have it completely over your eyes, and it sits really nice as well. The AGV I found sat sort of too high above, so you're looking at the lip on the bottom of the visor, whereas this fits nicely over the eyes. It comes down, I think it's probably because there's a bit more room in the front of the helmet, and it kind of sits away a bit further from your face. But the internal sun visor is optically perfect, and it meets all the various optical quality tests around the world. I think Australia's got the highest, which is what I read in one of the videos, and it meets that, so I'm perfectly happy with that. The visor itself is again really good, really sort of wide aperture, so that you get really good field of view. Comes with a pin lock fitted, which I really liked. One of the things I didn't like about the Arai was you had to fit the pin lock yourself. No major issue, but with the Tour X4, if anyone's got one, the pin locks don't fit perfectly. You have to adjust them a little bit with a blade. This comes fitted, it's in, it's done, you don't have to worry about it, and it works absolutely perfectly. The peak itself, this really good feature, you can adjust the peak. There's 3 positions. This is the highest position, works the best for my bike and my riding style. You can have it, if all you need to do is there's these 2 little latches, there's one there and one there, and you pull them down, and then that's the lowest. So low is too low for me, you can see it in your field of vision. The middle setting for me, for whatever reason, the wind must just be a perfect place. It kind of resonates a little bit, it's annoying, but I found having it on the highest not only worked best for me as far as field of view is concerned, but also there's no resonance, there's no drag from the wind either on the bike. So yeah, chuffed about that. That's an adjustable peak. That's not something which is available on most. As far as ventilation is concerned, really good. Got a chin vent here, which is really easy to use even with a gloved hand. And it's got just in the back of that there's a, let's see if I can pull it out for you, there's a small filter, and I can't get my fingers on it, but there's a small filter that you can take out and wash just to keep the dust away, but it lets lots of air through. It's really easy to breathe and to not get overheated. Plus there's a visor vent there, which again works really well, and then there's a top vent as well, which there's 3 positions of. Again, no issue at all, loads of airflow. You can really feel it exhausting around your head, you can feel it going through your hair, so it keeps you nice and cool. But the real, again, this is the whole build quality thing. When all the vents are shut, the helmet's very warm and it reduces that road noise a lot. And the other thing was the strap, the fixing system. So this hasn't got a double D, they've stayed away from that. They've actually got a ratchet system. The ratchet system works really well for me. It's easy to use even with a gloved hand. Just reduces some of that aggro as we've all done. You know, poking it through, it goes through the wrong one, the loops get mixed up, you can't feed it back through, you're taking both your gloves off, and it goes on and on and on. But this is a system, why more manufacturers don't use it. I'm sure there's people who don't like them, but many moons ago I had a Shoei X helmet which had a ratchet clip on it, which I really rated. And then yeah, so really chuffed that Schuberth take this style of connection. It again works really well. And then obviously, you know, it goes without saying, it meets all the UK safety standards, all the safety standards all over the world. But it's 1,695 grams, so it's relatively a heavy helmet. But when you think about how much is put into it, then it's kind of an offset really. And then one of the things actually I should mention for the safety element is that I went for the graphite grey. The graphite grey, obviously a dark colour. I was worried that I wouldn't be seen very well, but the Schuberth decals at the top and at the rear of the helmet and on the neck roll absolutely light up fantastically of a night time. So yeah, really chuffed with that. And in my opinion, this was the best colour available at the moment. Obviously removable lining, the neck roll can come out. You can fit an ERC system, which is Schuberth's own internal comm system. Again, it's something I've steered away from, mainly because I have a Senna 20S, which I'm very happy with. I believe the ERC system's made by Scala, I think, so therefore compatibility was limited. But you know, this works for me. I already had it. One thing I will say is when fitting it, if you've got a Senna, you can't use your clamp, you need to use your the sticky mount, because the mechanism for the sun visor sits right behind there, and if you nip it at all, then you'll ruin the mechanism for the sun visor, and then you've got to argue with them then about a warranty claim. So as far as the helmet itself is concerned, I certainly not the most aggressive looking adventure helmet on the market, and I thought it looked a bit bulbous or bulbous. I'm not a big guy, so when I wear it I look a little bit like a nail, but you know, I can't help that. One of the things, to put the helmet on and off, the visor has to be down. It makes it much easier, because as you can see, when you lift it up, everything folds away, including the peak, which is really good. So as far as fit is concerned, I'm a 55 head size. I'll put it on so you can see. I'm a 55 head size, and I find this is a small. I fit perfectly into their size range, and I find this fits very well indeed. So I find it much easier if you pull apart, as with most helmets, you pull apart the internal lining, and then it very easily slips on. Because of the big opening at the front of the helmet, it gives that opportunity to go in you go in forwards, which means the neck roll sits tightly around the back of your neck in order to reduce some of that wind noise. Once it's on, again, the ratchet strap, really like that, super easy to do. Literally pop in and you're done, and it comes undone very easily as well. I am a glasses wearer, albeit I usually wear contacts when I'm on the bike, but should I choose to wear glasses, there's valleys each side that the glasses sit on. They sit well on your nose. I have seen one guy being able to take the helmet on and off with his glasses on, by sort of manipulating, opening it up when they put it on. I've not managed to fathom that out yet, and I always shoot my glasses off onto the floor. And one thing I have found is that if you pull these apart too hard, then the internal mounts for the lining are pressure fit points. There's sort of a little male and female that clip in. When I fitted the comm system, I think I weakened one, to be fair, and if I pull it apart really hard, then I'll pop one of the cheap pad ones out. But it's literally just to push it, pop it back in. If it annoys me that much, I'll end up gluing it, which you probably shouldn't, but there you go. So that's what the fit fits me perfectly. It's really nice, and it's snug everywhere without being sort of over squeezy. So what that basically gives you on the bike is a really solid feeling helmet. It doesn't really move about at all, even with the peak. I don't have an issue with the wind catching it. I've tried it on other bikes as well without a big screen, and that doesn't seem to cause any issues at all. The field of view that the visor gives you, this style of helmet gives you, I find quite comforting. You can really good wide angle view that you have all the time, which is only, it's got to help with safety. But one of the surprises I did have is all the videos I've watched, and I've watched quite a few videos of the C3 actually. There's not many videos of these. Tell you about how quiet they are. They're absolutely silent. Once you've got it on, you can't really hear nothing. Haven't found that at all. In fact, I've found it quite a noisy helmet, and it might just be just the way that it sits around my neck or whatever. But I do find I have to wear earplugs with it, which I use the Christmas tree ones, because you still get all of the road noise without the whistle or the wind. So they're very good. So obviously I've added a few bits to the helmet, as you can probably see. I have a Senna 20S communication system. This is what I had already. I took it off the AGV and the RI. It's a really good bit of kit. There's hundreds of reviews out there for these, so I won't bore you with the ins and outs for that. It just fitted very well, and I think it looks okay on the helmet, albeit it's hard to lay it down because of this bulbous bit. And I use a Drift Ghost S when I'm out vlogging. The Drift I find I prefer over the GoPro, just because it doesn't stick out here. And catching wind, and I've heard about people coming off and then the GoPro digs in and flicks the helmet around and all that kind of stuff. So it fits really well. It goes on the side. One of the things I did notice when I first fitted it, because on my old helmet the Drift was fitted on top, was when I fitted it on, the Drift, I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of points outwards, and I was worried that actually you wouldn't get a very good image. It wouldn't be there. It wouldn't give you the kind of field of view that I wanted. But what I found is, because the lens is rotatable, I just rotate it so I've got a level horizon, and it does a perfect job. It's absolutely brilliant. So look, pros for me were the adventure look of the helmet, the flip front, just to make it easy. Obviously the sun visor is comfortable. It's a lovely place to be for any amount of time. The ratchet strap makes it very easy to get on and off. And the cons for me, I found it a little bit noisy, but I've killed that with the earbuds. It's quite heavy when the helmet is up and open, but then again, it's only a very, very limited amount of time. And just a limited colour scheme. I didn't find the colours very exciting at all. I was hoping for some kind of aggressive red, white and blue or something, but they tend to be quite boring, and the colours stand around for a long time. So this is why I went with this. But like I say, I don't usually do these kind of reviews because they're incredibly personal. What works for me might not necessarily work for you, as I've said before. But hopefully this will give you a little bit of an insight of what it's like to own in one. It's a big investment to make, it's lots of money, And then I always, I trawl YouTube looking for other people's opinion, so hopefully it would have been of use for you. But if you like it, please like and subscribe. I'd be very grateful indeed. Then if you like this kind of review, again, it's something I've never done before, then I'll happily do some of the other stuff I've got to give you an idea. And then yeah, we'll go from there. But thanks very much for watching, much appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.